Are we recording? Oh, okay, we're recording! Alright! Okay. Okay, so then I'll quit. Okay. Alright, we are live recording on the BEX show, and this is Cicily Bilecki. She is a writer, and so how I found her is through Google. I had Google Membatical. And because I was thinking I'm tired of dating, and I'm just gonna go on this membatical where I'm not gonna date for a while. So here's a quick bio. Okay, so you are a writer and creator of the blog Sweet Cicily, where you share adventures of life after divorce through traveling, single parenthood, dating, faith, fitness, love, and embracing your own happily after. So I love that. Can you tell us more about, how you started that blog and, just your life story?
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks first for having me and Googling Membatical and finding.
Yay!
Yay! So I'm excited to be on the Beck Show today, my first talk show.
Yay!
Yay! So how I started Sweet Cicily was almost exactly 3 years ago. I was sitting in my pajamas one day, and I had just broken up with this guy that I thought was the love of my life, and it was all, oh, I'm so sad. So I was just like, oh, Google, and I came across TED Talks.
Ooh, okay.
And so I was Googling TED Talks, and one of the speakers, he was talking about changing your life in 30 days. So this gentleman, he worked for Google, and he said, well, I'm going to start biking to work for 30 days.
Wow.
And I'm going to change my life that way. So he said, take something that's always challenged you, you always wanted to do, you were scared of doing, and consistently do it for 30 days. And so my whole life, I've always envied writers. I'd have friends who were writers, and I was just like, that's amazing. I dropped out of college for a couple of years because scared to write, like fear, like, oh, gotta write a paper. I'm just gonna drop the class. And I was like, you know what? I want to just write, and maybe I'm gonna totally suck at this, but I'm just gonna do it. So I set up for 30 days. I was like, I'm gonna start this thing called a blog. I don't know. I heard about these blog things. I'm gonna try a blog on Blogger, and I just started every day, like just writing about my life, what was going on in my life. I kind of like kind of fun. Just writing about my day was a good way to release stress or whatever thoughts and experiences I had. And then slowly I started getting a following of other people just around the world saying, oh my gosh, I go through that too. And then I just fell in love. It became a passion of mine. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to write about my life. Whatever I'm doing in my life, I'm just going to write about it. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be sharing this with the whole world. But because now, like, if you Google my name, like, it's hard because, I'm always, like, hesitant, like, should I tell guys that I blog? Hey, are you going to blog this? Are you going to blog this? But I'm like, you know what? If anybody who wants to be with me, they're gonna see every part of me, so I'm never going to hold back. So I write about my life. And I talk about, my experience after getting a divorce, which was 6 years ago. And,
wow.
And it didn't necessarily start it off as a divorce blog. It just happened to be a part of me and my experiences. And then I was able to connect with other people who'd been through it. And I wanted to share them with them that it's not the end of the world. This is a brand new beginning of your life. And so as they follow my adventures or whatever I'm doing, whether I'm traveling or I'm crossfitting or I'm running or I'm going on 1,000 dates, like I get to expose my life and just share it with people and let them know you're not alone. So that's kind of how it started. So.
Wow, that's awesome. And so I saw your post 50 lessons from 50 first dates after divorce on Huffington Post. And I love it because you're so honest about the quirks and the weirdos that you do meet What's
Yes.
one date that you've like just really stood out in your mind, which was really like funny to you?
The one that's so funny. I've been on so many, and sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm being pranked. Like Ashton Kutcher is gonna like jump out of like the restaurant, and be like, ha. But like one that stood out. Okay, like I have a billion, but there was this one. He was like the weirdest person in the world. So it started off with I used to be on like Match.com, and this one guy who'd always be really aggressive and sending me like notes and links, and I'm like, it's not my type. I'm not interested, and I was just like, ignore him. So then I went to a mixer, like maybe 6 months later. I went to a Match.com mixer in Honolulu. And this guy kept talking to me, and he was teasing me. He's like, you kept rejecting me on Match. And I'm like, well, whatever. He's charming. Maybe, yeah, I was like, whatever. He he's a nice in person. And I'm like, oh, he's charming. And one of the girls, and that's the cool thing about going to mixers, I actually make friendships through Match.com or whatever.
Oh,
those
awesome.
are the ones that last, never the dates. But one of the girls that I met there, she's like, come on, give him his number. And I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll go. So we went on a date later that week, and it was a disaster.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Charming, like, started the date, not even 10 minutes. He asked me very, like, point blank, so when are we having sex tonight? And I'm like,
oh, my
are you
God.
serious? And then I was like, okay, can't get it any worse. I'm going to be polite. Oh, my God, just get through this night.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to tell me that he had 3 different children to 3 different moms, that he's never married, and I hope I don't want more children because he already had a vasectomy. All before, like, I've never, like, just when the date started. So I was just like, this is so strange, and I just gotta get through it. And then towards the end of the night, he gave me this sketchy story that he needed a place to sleep because...
So he's homeless.
So he's homeless.
Oh, my.
It was bad. So and then he was like, well, trying to make me feel guilty because he had to sleep in his car. I'm like, well, I hope you find a nice parking space because you're not coming to my house. And then that was it. Then I blocked him.
That is so sketchy. So he's basically using, like, sex to get a place to stay, like free hotel kind of thing.
Yeah, I wasn't up for that.
Wow. That's crazy.
And he tried to kiss me, and I'm like,
you're like,
no.
You haven't showered for probably like a month, so no.
Yeah, so follow your instincts when you want to not talk to someone online, because usually my gut told me, no, but then later I'm like, oh, maybe. No, I should have just stuck with my gut feeling. So.
Yeah. Oh, my.
It's a weirdo.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what kind of guys do you like? Is there a certain look, height, weight, hair color, or race?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, because, maybe you'll be able to get a match on here.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So my type, okay, all my girlfriends already see it like a mile away. When they see the guys, they're like, that's him. They always call him Mr. Hollywood because he has, like...
That's so funny.
They're like, Cicely, I know you're going to like him. I'm like, oh, but he's my type. He usually looks like a CrossFit guy.
Oh, okay. CrossFit, okay.
Just like the boy... Yeah, just the boy next door, all-American boy next door. I usually like guys in the military, because in Hawaii, it's all, like, military guys. Blue eyes, I love blue eyes. Not, like, particular about, like, hair color, but in shape. I like someone who likes to work out. They don't need to be, like, a musclehead, but someone who's active and just, like, super cute. And it's usually trouble, but... fun. But yeah, that's my type. I like the all-American cute boy next door.
How about like qualities, or values?
I have learned that's more important.
Yeah.
So after on like so many dates because, you know, you were asking about my background.
Yeah.
I was with someone for almost 20 years. He was my high school sweetheart. So I never really had experiences in dating in high school or even college.
Mm-hmm.
So when I became divorced, this whole like dating thing was new. So add on texting and like online and all that kind of crazy stuff. It was kind of like a candy store, and I wanted to just experience meeting different types of people. And so it's fun. Like, it's fun to get attention and meet new cute guys. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I have learned over the past 6 years that, yeah, he may be cute, but what's underneath, that's what matters. Because I've gone out with a ton of cute guys, and they don't always last. You know, that substance isn't there. We're not on that same page. So definitely I'm looking deeper now, because now that I'm like, oh, I've played a lot, now I'm ready to, like, have something meaningful. But I still want to be, still want him to be cute. You know, I think it's very important.
Well, yeah, he can't be ugly. I mean,
yeah, you have to be attracted to the person. Like, I know a lot of people say that doesn't matter, but I've tried that before. And like, but you need to have a connection. I think for both sides.
Yeah. So what's your advice for someone who's maybe 18, well, let's say a teenager, like a 23-year-old, like a early 20s, women or men? Any advice for these demographics?
Mm-hmm.
As far as dating goes.
Wait, say that again?
What's your advice for someone who's like in their early 20s or even mid 20s, like an advice for dating?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a lot of advice on this. So, you know, looking at hindsight's 2020. Mm-hmm. And when I was younger, I didn't, you know, date a lot. And neither did my ex-husband. We were both really young. And I think now we both say this, and I think it's good we came to that understanding. We should have been meeting different types of people, because you don't know what you want when you're 18. You think you do. You think you know everything. Mm-hmm. And it's good to meet different people. You don't have to go on 60 first dates like me, but it's good to go on those bad dates, and it's good to go on those good dates, because you can redefine what you want. You may say, you know what, I may not want that in my life, but hey, this is a quality I'm looking for in a person, or this is the type of relationship I want. Don't be like in such a rush to settle down, because if you are truly meant to be with someone and spend your life with them, you've got time. There's definitely no rush. Like, I think society puts like this pressure on us, like you've got to be married by a certain age, you got to have babies by a certain age. Like, I lived that. Like, I used to think, you know, this is how my happily ever after is going to be. And I followed all those steps, and it didn't work out. But that's okay. But I look back and I'm like, I should have been doing the things that I wanted to do instead of so hyper-focused on finding someone. So now that I'm older and I have the opportunity, it's like I'm reliving that time period of my life in a different way. But, you know, don't be in such a rush to find somebody. That person will find you organically. You don't need to push it. You don't need to rush it. You can't hurry love. You just have to wait.
That's good. Can't hurry love. Yeah, so what are your, like, dreams for the next, I guess, 5 to 10 years, as far as, like, personal development, traveling, and even dating?
Okay, 5 to 10 years. So I'm really big into like vision boards, and so I just recently worked on like my 5 years. I didn't go 10. That's a good idea though. I'm definitely excited to travel again. It's really hard to in Hawaii because it's so expensive, but I love, like, that's the thing I fell in love with, and you know, I didn't do when I was younger because I was always with somebody and my goals were attached to theirs, but now I'm like, oh, I want to go backpacking somewhere. So I try to do as much traveling around the world as I can. Yeah. But my goal is, like, I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Germany. I want to go to Ireland. So that's the things, like, I get excited about. I don't necessarily get excited about, like, oh, this big wedding day, even though that's wonderful. Like, I'm not saying things aren't wonderful. But for me, like, I've done that, and so I'm like, oh, it's like planning a wedding. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to Dublin, and this is what I'm going to do. And that's what gets me excited. So that's next on my plan. So I put like Spain stuff on my board, but I want to go to Ireland, and
That's awesome.
I don't know, I just need to go see the world. So that's basically what I do. And as far as like my other goals, I have 4 classes left of my master's, which I've been procrastinating on. I want to just get it done, and then I want to.
Is it like a writing master's?
Like inspirational speaker.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, like there's people, because I talk to a lot of people, and that's the really cool thing about blogging. Is you really have an opportunity now in this day and age to connect with anyone in the world. Like you and I, we just met, and I just like, oh wow, what a great connection. But it's nice to just share your life and talk to other people and say, hey, I've gone through that, and that's awesome. What did you do? Give me ideas. And like, no man is an island. We need to be together. Wow. And so my goal is to like, I want to get up and speak to people. I'm still in the works of how I'm doing all that, but that's life. You know, it's a process, and give yourself time. Don't be in such a rush. It's going to happen. So that's my goal.
Wow, you're so inspiring. No, I do believe that you're going to speak to a lot of people, you know, who may feel like, well, especially, you know, divorced and then feeling like, oh no, like my life is over. What should I do now? You know? But you're just out there doing your thing, traveling, and that's what really inspired me to contact you, because I was looking at your blog and you have like a travel section, and just I was like, wow, that's, you know, I found us to be similar in that aspect. So.
No, I agree. I saw yours, then I started looking at your stuff. I'm like, oh, she's been here. That's totally awesome. I love that.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's see. What have you ever walked away after seeing what your date looks like?
Have I ever walked away after seeing what my date looks like? No. I have never done that. I wonder if someone's done that to me, but no, I've never done that. Have I? But you know, I think we know pretty instinctively from the very beginning whether you're going to be attracted to the person or not. And I still I want to be polite, and maybe that's why I've endured some pretty terrible dates. But I still like to take it as an experience, even if I have zero connection with that person. I read this book and I became friends with a wonderful blogger. She's a dating coach in Boston, and I read her book. It's called The Love Trap, and she said, which was a really great advice, was even if the date is terrible or you have zero connection with that person, look for 3 things about that person or that your experience you're having. And that's all dating is. We're not going to be with every person that we date. You might just see them once, but you can gain something from them. And even if it's a tiny thing, even on the worst dates, there's something good about that person that you can gain from and grow as a person, as a dater, you know. Wow. I've never walked away.
That's amazing. Wow. So enough about dating. I love everything you said. Let's move on to, I like how you do CrossFit almost every day. And not that we're here to advertise CrossFit, but it seems like that gives you a lot of energy, and it seems like, it just, like, that's part of your life, right?
Yeah, it's so funny, because I literally failed PE. I've never been athletic in my life. I've never been able to do pull-ups or anything like that, and it was almost 2 years ago. I was at a bar, and there was a really cute guy sitting at the bar, and I was designated driver that night for my girlfriend's birthday. So I was like, okay, I'll just sit at the bar, and she can go, drink and have fun. And there was this really cute guy at the bar, and I've always been shy, but I guess after my divorce now, I just talk to everybody. I'm whatever, I'll just talk to you, with no intentions, just to connect with people. And I talked to him, and we sat down. And I was like, well, what do you do? And he just lit up, saying how much he loved this thing called CrossFit. I'm like, what the hell is CrossFit? But I'm like, he's super cute. I'll look into this. So check out CrossFit.
Oh.
And they offered like free classes. It was right next to my house, and I thought I was gonna die the first day. But I ended up just like falling in love with it, and I never stick to things. Usually I'm like, I'm gonna try something new.
Yeah.
But it's been almost 2 years. I've had like a 6-month break, but the thing that I love about it is anybody, you know, a lot of people have this misconception that you have to be this crazy athlete, and you don't. Like me, literally, I'm probably the slowest person in the class, but I know consistently that I continue to go because I want to see gains in myself. No one ever compares. No one's ever like, oh, you can't do this. Like, people cheer you on. And sometimes the really hot guys who have no shirts on will cheer you on.
Wow.
So
that is enticing.
Awesome. Like, I'll go slower if you stay longer.
You're like, cheer me on, babe.
Cheer me on. So, and people are just super nice, and there's cute, I won't lie, there's really, really cute guys at CrossFit.
Wow.
But it's just fun. It's good to, like, challenge yourself, because there's things that I never thought I'd be able to do that I was able to do there. And it's kind of become my boyfriend. Because
nice.
it's a I try to figure, like, a healthy alternative while I take my sabbatical. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the people who are there. Everyone's very supportive, and then I get stronger and healthier. So it's good.
Awesome. So now let's move on to. So I noticed that you mentioned now you're not afraid to talk to just anyone because, like, now you just because after the divorce. So So how can people who maybe aren't divorced or like married or single right now act in that way, which is fearless? What are some things like advice for people who want to live that way that you're living?
Absolutely. And when I say this, know that I've never, like, growing up, I was super shy. Like, even if, like, my teacher called someone to be the line leader to the library, I was, like, having anxiety attacks because I was like, don't call me. But I was always super, super shy, and I hated it. But then literally, like, after my divorce, I'm like, you know what? Like, this is my opportunity to live my life and do whatever I want, and so what? That's my past. So what if I was shy before? I can be anything I want now. So one of the things I do now, like, when I go out, because, like, when I go backpacking, I go by myself. One time I went with one of my girlfriends. Yay! So I go backpacking, and it gets lonely after, like, you're like, okay, I've been in Paris for how long I'm bored. So I've learned just to, like, smile, be friendly, be open, smile, and start a conversation. And an important thing is, like, it's just start that conversation, because people want to talk to you. They're just as neurotic about, I don't know if I want to talk to people.
Yeah.
Just make that first move, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you are. So, like, just look at somebody and point out something about what they're doing, because people love talking about themselves. And if you point something about them, then that's that opener. And just be yourself, and that's it, And I think people will be, it just gets easier, because now I'm like, I literally will talk to strangers, and they're like, how long have you met? Like, how long have you guys known each other? Oh, we just met now at the farmer's market. But just like, don't worry what other people think about you. I used to worry about that, like, what are people going to think about me? But just smile, you'll be surprised. So I try every day, at least smile at 3 different people, strangers, wherever I go. And you would be surprised who smiles back. Because at first they're like, what? And then they look at you and they're like, yeah. And then they smile right back. And sometimes that starts conversations. So.
Wow. Okay, so I'm writing this down. Smile at 3 different people every day. I love that.
Smile. And who said it? I forgot who said it. But if you want to meet men, because sometimes I get tired of, like, meeting guys online. I've been offline for a while now, but I'm like, I would like to meet people organically. So, like, I have been in places, like, just random places, like a restaurant or whatever, and I'll just look at someone and smile and say something to them, and you would be surprised.
Do they pay for your bill?
Wait, say it again?
Do they pay for your bill? They're like, oh, she's so sweet. I'm gonna pay her bill.
Yeah, and you like get practice. Like I advise, like a lot of girls go to like Whole Foods.
Oh.
Like talk to a bartender about this at Whole Foods. Like just go sit at the bar where all the dudes are.
Okay.
And you can have your little book or whatever, but look around and smile. Don't stare at your phone. But usually I have a book, and every time a guy will ask you, what are you reading? And you have, like, every single time it works. And
wow.
But then you meet some nice guys, too.
Well, okay, so Whole Foods, why is that a better option than, like, Barney's Beanery or Yard House?
You know what? I'm sure you can do that there, too.
Okay.
But, like, I don't know why I just started going there. Like, I talked to the bartender one time, and this is who you get your ins with, the bartender. So I talked to the cute bartender, and he was like, okay, you need to come here between 5 and 7 during the weekdays, because that's when all the single dudes.
Oh, the happy hour, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he said, sit at the bar, and I'll introduce you to people. So it's good to know someone. And you would never know, because I can be super, super, super shy, but also, like, I think it's good. Just go up and just smile and talk to people. Like, you really never know, because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, that guy's so hot. There's no way. They'll be like, yeah, I got your number. So, yeah, you just got to put yourself out there as uncomfortable as it can be. Because they don't know that you're a shy person. They don't know anything about you. They may be shy themselves. And a lot of women think that, guys always have to make their first move. No, girls can do that too.
So sometimes I feel like when I make the first move, I'm afraid that they'll end up like, it's like I'll have to make the first move all the time. Do you find that to be true, or what do you think?
It's so hard. Dating is complicated.
Okay.
But as far as like meeting people, because I have a lot of good guy friends, and that's like a girl's best friend is to know like what's the going on in this inside of a guy's mind. Because a lot of my guy friends will tell me they're super shy, as confident as they may seem. They can be super shy around women, and they fear rejection as much as we do. So you don't have to like be super aggressive, but you can just be friendly and open, and then just kind of keep that open the door for conversation. And if they want to pursue it, then they will. And if they don't, that's okay. There's so many people out there. And yeah, there's so many people. Do you know how many people are out there? And that's what I believe. Because I remember I was in Bali. I took me and my girlfriend were there, and I decided, you know what, I need a day just to chill out.
Yeah.
So I was walking around and went to this bar, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, I don't want to sit alone. And I saw this really, really, really cute guy, and I'm like, hey, can I sit with you? And he's like, yeah. I was waiting for you to ask. And I'm like, yeah.
What?
So, but you just got to ask. With anything in life, whether it's a career or whatever, you just gotta ask. And if people say no, then fine, it's okay. It's no reflection on you.
Right.
Just take chances.
Wow. You're so inspiring.
Thank you. You're inspiring too.
So, last thing is, what's one of your favorite inspiring quotes?
One of my favorite inspiring quotes.
Or even something that you made up. Yeah.
I have so many. I'm like a quote junkie. But it depends. Like, okay, I would have to say probably my favorite one is the universe. Wait, what is it? The universe will conspire to the nature of your song. Basically, if you're going to be a negative Nelly, if you're going to be a negative Nelly all the time, that's what you're going to bring into your life.
Wow.
But if you're full of joy, and you sing that song of, I know it sounds like really Pollyanna, if you're joyful and you're thankful and you're grateful and you're happy, that's what you're going to find in your life. Even when life, because this is the thing about life, it's always going to have its ups and downs. There's no question about it. But your attitude through that, and I think that quote embodies that. Your attitude is going to carry you through those hard times. So when I write about my life, some things I don't go into full detail about everything, but a lot of people, when they see a filtered part of your life, we only, as bloggers or writers, we only share pieces of our life. They don't see, the bad stuff, but I think if you have overall a good attitude, like the nature of your song, how you walk through this life, it's going to carry you through those hard times too. So that's it. And then one more. Sorry, can I add one more?
Yeah.
Okay. So every time I CrossFit, because sometimes I'm like, I'm going to die in this walk. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. So I always think of scripture, and I always think I can do all things through Christ. And it's true. Like, whatever the obstacle, like, whatever. It could be like a workout. Like, you could be running, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But, like, I do all things in Christ. Anything that I want, I can do through him. So that's the biggest, I think that's the most important quote of my life.
I love it. So where can, viewers and readers find you and contact you?
Thank you. The readers can find me on Sweet Cicily. So it's Sweet Cicily .blogspot.com. And then you can also find me on Facebook, Sweet Cicily. Find me on Twitter, Sweet Cicily 1, and then Instagram, Sweet Cicily. And you can just find me everywhere. You'll find my vlogs, you'll find my writings, but I look forward to definitely connecting with the readers. That's my favorite part about writing, because a lot of times people ask me, why do you write? And it's not because I make like $1 billion or anything like that. It's because I get to connect with cool people around the world. So, like, as yourself. But thank you for having me on here today.
Thank you, girl. And so yes, viewers and readers, please read her blog, subscribe, and